Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. I am Ashley. I'm a homeschooling mom with 7 kiddos, going on 8 kids. I homeschool 5 of them currently. And so I wanted to do a video. I just did one, well, not that long ago, on my incoming 9th graders curriculum pieces, or what I think are going to be his curriculum pieces. So if you don't know, I will be having in this upcoming school year, 2023 to 2024, I will have a 9th grader, a 6th grader, a 3rd grader, a 2nd grader, and a kindergartner. 3rd grade or 2nd grader, I kind of use lightly, kind of more in between 1st and 2nd grade. But for the sake of him being a certain grade level, it's mostly will be 2nd grade. Okay, so every year, and as I have more kids that I am teaching as they go further and further along, it gets a little bit more difficult to kind of wrap my brain around what works and what doesn't for each of them. Obviously, when you have a lot of kids, your kids' learning styles are going to be different. What they prefer in a curriculum and what they enjoy in a curriculum is going to be different. And it is not all just black and white. So my dog's barking in the background. I'm sure you can hear him. I wanted to go over what I plan to use for my incoming 6th grader. And just kind of a backstory, she's in the older part of her grade. She has an August birthday, and I did a kinder bridge program for her when she was after preschool. I didn't feel like she was ready for kindergarten. Emotionally, I didn't feel like she was ready for kindergarten. And she was already reading in pre-K. I mean, reading like chapter books in pre-K. It was amazing. But emotionally, she wasn't ready. And so I've never looked back. It was a great decision to bridge her and kind of fill in that gap and let her grow a little bit more before I put her in kindergarten. She did a year of kindergarten in public school. So she does have some public school experience. Not that that really makes a difference here, but I definitely think that it helped with her reading skills when she went to a private preschool and then stayed there for kinder bridge. I think that definitely helped, but that's history now. However, that's just kind of a little background for her. So I am actually going to be changing quite a bit of her stuff. I will link my video that shows what she did for this or is finishing up for 5th grade. Like I said, with each child throughout the year, I really sometimes have to sit down, and it's like I said, it's not all black and white. It's not just like, yes, this is working. No, it isn't. It's like, what is it that's not working? What do I need to find in a different curriculum piece that she is not, or he, any of my children, are not grasping or are not enjoying, and where can I find that curriculum piece? And sometimes that is hard because it might not check all the boxes, but maybe checks most of the boxes. So there are bits and pieces of each curriculum that maybe some curriculum pieces I'm keeping, but some it's like bits and pieces that I know we struggled with some this year. And so, some people will say it is better to stick with the same curriculum the whole time because you kind of run the risk of there being gaps in whether it's math or language arts or whatever. I have a different outlook on that. I am okay with trying to fill in the gaps because to me, it is much easier to do that than to force a child to go through X amount of years, whether it's through elementary or through middle school, whatever, with the same curriculum piece for the sake of not having these little gaps here and there. I do not want to struggle with my children to enjoy a certain curriculum piece, and I do not want to argue with my kids to have to finish this curriculum piece just because I'm afraid of gaps in between that I could easily fill it. So let me start off with math. We use currently the Good and the Beautiful math. I think it is okay for some kids. I have said many times, and maybe that's just because I have a lot of kids, that I don't like a lot of wordiness. I want it to be exciting for them, but I don't like a lot of fluff, and I don't like a lot of extra work, and I don't like 10 million things of the same practice problem. Now, how I solve that currently is having them do half, or, and I do this with my older one too. Let's do half of them. If you understand it, let's move on. We're not going to do all of the problems for the sake of doing them if you understand it. It's just a waste of time, in my opinion. So for example, the Good and the Beautiful will have, and I'm using math as an example, will have maybe a math game of some sort, or a puzzle of some sort, where you have to figure out what, by solving the problems, and then you get to the end of the maze, yada, yada, yada. Okay. If your child is okay with that, by all means, do it. If they have no problems with it, do it. If you have the time and they have the time, do it. I and my kids really don't have the time to sit there and do all of these extra games that they don't need to do unless they really want to do them. And so that is where I was kind of iffy with their math curriculum. Because of that, I'm going to try BJU Press. My older kid who's going into 9th grade, will be using BJU Press actually for a few things. And so I am going to be using them, or I think, now this is all, unless if I make this video and then I turn around and I say, I decide I found something like 100 times better, I will come back and do an updated recap on this, and I won't make you think that I am going to stick with BJU Press if I find something like way better. But for me, I think it checks all the boxes right now from what I've seen. So I think we're going to try and do BJU Press. She enjoys some of the extra activities, but sometimes it's too much, and I don't want just a plain, boring black and white curriculum. Math UC is like that, which worked for my older kid the past 2 years, and that's fine. I think as you get in upper middle school and even high school, you don't need the fluff, you don't need the color, you don't need, unless that's what you really enjoy. And really, it's going to be hard to find a curriculum with that. But it's just a little too black and white for me, and I think for her. So at her age. So BJU Press, we're going to try math, I think. I will let you know. I will be ordering. I've started ordering things, and I think it's going to, as it starts rolling in, I will be able to get a better look, and I will do flip throughs, and I will let you know, yes, this is for sure what we are doing. These things that I'm telling you now, I am pretty sure. I'm like 98% sure that this is what we'll be doing. Handwriting, the Good and the Beautiful. I have had no problems with their handwriting. I love their handwriting. I think it goes up to 8th grade, and I will continue to use that. I think we start cursive in 3rd, maybe, and that is what I'm going to keep using because I have not had any issues with it at all. Spelling. I am currently using, I will link the video on what I am currently using. It is good. It has surprised me. I have liked it, but I think I want more of a list format. I want something a little bit more straightforward as far as spelling goes. And in the past, we've used Evan Moore, and she was like 1 or 2 grade levels or levels ahead of what her actual grade level was. And so I feel like by now she'd probably be maxed out and be doing like their highest level. And so I'm really not a fan of Evan Moore's spelling like I was at the beginning, because now I'd be kind of like, okay, well, we're like way far ahead. Like we should be doing a different curriculum. So I'm actually on the hunt for that, for a different spelling curriculum for her. I don't want a huge like whole, I don't know, like giant curriculum piece. I want something straightforward. Here's your spelling list. Something like Evan Moore's format, but like more challenging. I don't know. I just had an issue with them being challenging and not being challenging. And so I'm on the hunt for that. I will let you know what I decide on that. It might be something where I do it online and I simply print out spelling lists and we do that online. And she's a pretty good speller, so I don't feel like it's a huge, we need to dive into it a lot, but obviously it still needs to be part of her curriculum. So language arts. Okay, we are currently doing the Good and the Beautiful language arts. Yes, I like it. I really like it for elementary. And for upper, I say this, upper middle school. I was not a huge fan of the 6th grade Good and the Beautiful language arts curriculum. It has worked excellent for my younger kids. And even through this year, yes, going into middle school, when my older kid did the 6th grade one, and I don't think they've redone it unless they are about to. I don't think they have redone that yet. They kind of revamp and better things each year by listening to, reviews or what if there's any complaints and things like that. I think it might still be the same version. Now, I will look into that, and if I decide if this is one of the curriculum pieces, the 6th grade that they are redoing, and they just have yet to release it, then maybe I'll wait for that. But the 6th grade has a lot of fluff. Now, they do kind of merge into the geography side of the curriculum. They have geography, they have the geography cards, they have just a lot of stuff. And she's one of my kids that she enjoys doing things, but if it puts her behind, then she doesn't like that. So, which, I mean, who would want to, stay behind in a curriculum? But I think that a different curriculum might work better for her. I have looked at master books actually since I started homeschooling, and I couldn't, I don't really know why I haven't used them before. And I know there's an elective that I'm going to use for my oldest, probably not this year, but maybe for 10th grade that I have looked into heavily. And they definitely have a lot of good pieces. I just need a more open and go curriculum than for 6th grade than the Good and the Beautiful is willing to give me. And there's nothing wrong with that, with more fluff. And like I said, if you have less kids, then fluff might be fine. With 5 kids that I'm teaching, fluff is not okay. Unless it's something they really, really want to do. So I think it's called Lessons for a, I forget what the exact title is. I don't want to butcher it, so I'm not gonna say it, what I think it is, but it is the grade 6 or level 6 or whatnot from master books for language arts. I am pretty sure that's what I'm going to use. More straightforward, shorter lessons. And that is, again, the shorter lessons is very key into me picking a curriculum, because like I said, when I have 5 currently that I'm doing, it makes a world of difference. And so I just can't waste the time, and I don't want to say waste, because if I didn't think it was a waste, I wouldn't say that. Just all of the extra stuff that is really, in my opinion, unnecessary if they understand what they're doing. So, master books for language arts, science and history. I think I will be using BJU Press for them. Now, again, my oldest will be also using BJU Press for science. The 6th grade, we are not required to do testing. We are not required to, in Texas, to do any kind of quizzes or any kind of assignments or anything like that. So for her, I think it is just strictly going to be reading and understanding. And if she wants to answer the questions, great. If not, I am not grading her. My oldest, yes, that was a different story. But for her, I don't need the test sheets. I don't need the quiz sheets unless she really wants to do that. But a lot of it is just kind of like self-reading. And I am fine with reading out loud. I enjoy that to them for various curriculum pieces. But it might work better for her to just sit in her room and read it herself and then ask me any questions. And so I kind of want to encourage a more independent curriculum pieces with history and science for her, if that's how she kind of comprehends better, which I think it might be. My oldest kind of does either. I can read to him and he's great, and he can read himself and he's great. And so I don't worry about that. But with some of my other kids, it's like, it might work better and you might be able to concentrate more. And that just goes for people in general if you're reading it yourself. So those are my curriculum picks for 6th grade for the upcoming school year. Like I said, if any of those changes, I will let you know. And again, don't feel like you have to stick with a curriculum company or curriculum piece just because your kid is used to it. If they are struggling in any way and it is not something that's an easy fix, or it's not something that you think they will overcome, it gets worse as they get older because you have these curriculum pieces as you get into the higher grades that are tougher. So everything builds on top of each other, obviously, just like any curriculum piece. But if they are struggling in any way, shape, or form in this particular curriculum piece, you don't want to keep going and keep going and going and going. It's not going to do anybody any good. So those are my choices right now. Let me know if you use any of these that I've mentioned that are new. Like I said, a lot of it is new for us. So it'll be a learning experience, and then we just kind of go year to year and see how we like it and reevaluate. And I'd say at least a couple times a year, I reevaluate and see. And if you have any spelling curriculum, simple spelling curriculum pieces, let me know, because I am on the hunt for that. Like I said, it can be something that I simply print out and put in a notebook, and it does not have to be a huge, expensive spelling curriculum, because she's good at spelling. I just need her to keep doing it, right? All right, guys, let me know if you have any questions down below, and I will see you next time. Take care.